Today I have the pleasure of being with Michael Fremer, a titan in the audio world, and it's a pleasure to interview you for the first time. How does it feel to see this analog revival going so strong?
It's beyond my expectations, really. And luckily it happened, because otherwise I'd be unemployed. I wouldn't have a job. But I used to sit around with my friend Joe Harley, the tone poet, in the 90s. We used to sit around and say, if only we could get young people to hear this and to experience it, they'd want it. They'd want to have a shelf full of records. They'd want to know if they want to hear something to pull out a record, put it on and play it and have that experience. And they would want to hear this, whatever the reason is, it sounds it's more pleasant. It puts you in a good mood. When you listen to digital, it could be good, it's good, but you put the record on, If they got that experience, they'd want it. But how are we going to get them that experience? And we both plotted to make sure that they got that experience. And it happened. And now it was a $1.4 billion business, records, just the records alone last year. And it's going that way.
And do you think it has something to do with tuning the turntables and the arms?
It's so many different reasons. And part of it is, I know the young people I talk to, they like the fact that when they put a record on their turntable, when they open their phone, it's not going to be there. No one's tracking what they're doing. It's like they're off the grid. They're just having their own personal...
Yes, analog.
And that's something I never thought about in the 90s, because we didn't know how bad this was going to get. But everything just worked out correctly. Both the aesthetics of it and the experience of it, and also the value systems of young people seems to be coming around. And engineers too. There was a period of time when the recordings were so bad, it wouldn't matter what you did with them, they were bad. But a generation of younger engineers listens to the old records, listens to the old sound, and they're bringing back really good sounding recordings again. Even though they're digital, they still sound good.
I've heard that you're now stepping into new territory as a record producer.
Yeah, I did. I'm in new territory. So I was a friend of mine was a concert promoter, and then when COVID hit, he couldn't promote anything. And then when it looked like it was appropriate again to promote concerts, he started a little thing called the New York City Jazz Marathon at a piano showroom that had enough seats to have a performance space. And we decided one Saturday, a friend of mine, to go in and support him and see whoever was going to play. And we were expecting a bunch of kids. We didn't know what to expect. And there were some young players that were good, and then all of a sudden the bassist Rufus Reed walked in, dragging his bass, and he introduces young Kalen Cardello.
Okay.
They had never played together, and they sat down and they started playing. And
Jamming.
they were just together for playing standards they both knew. After the second track, I said to my friend, this should have been recorded because this is amazing. And he goes, look, it is being recorded. And it's our friend Duke Marcos, a recording engineer who we both know, who's recording 6 tracks of 9624 digital. And good microphones and a beautiful Fazioli piano. So when it was over, and it was magical, the whole concert was magical. And when it was over, I went over to Rufus and I said to myself, I'm not going to walk out of here and say, I should have done something. I'm going to do it this time. And I said to Rufus, if this came out good, can I put this out on vinyl? And he said, pay me and you can do it. So I got home, I got the rough mix of the files, and it's already sounded great. I said, we're going to do this. And so we did it, and we mixed it, and I made sure it sounded good on my speakers, because I'm paying for it, that's what I care about, it sounds good on my stereo. And when we were finished mixing, and Joe Harley had some input on where to place the 2 instruments on the stage and how it all set up, I sent it to Bob Ludwig, the famous mastering engineer, who was about to retire, and I said, Bob, I want you to have this because I think this is great music, I think you'll enjoy it. And Bob got back to me the next day and he said, I want my name on this because I think this kid is fantastic and everyone's going to know his name in a couple of years. And I said, I agree. And so he mastered it, and when we got back the files, it was just that much better. What did he do? It's like a great chef takes, good ingredients, and you don't taste the spices, you taste the result, and he made it that much better. And the record came out, we pressed 2,000 copies, and they pretty much all sold. Not a lot, but, you know. And then I only later learned that this Kalen Cardello was well known in the New York City jazz scene, that he was a finalist in the Herbie Hancock competition, and that everybody thinks he's going to be something. And then they performed some of the songs at
So can we expect another record soon? Now that you are a producer?
Yes. So Kalen has finished another record. This is with his trio, and it's all original tunes. I've heard some of the original tunes at a show that he did at Birdland, and he's got all the goods as far as I'm concerned. It was mesmerizing. So I hope it sounds good. I had nothing to do with the recording. It was done at a studio in New Jersey. I'm hopeful that it'll sound good. He once he heard what his record sounded like. I mean, that record, his first record, sounds great. So hopefully this one will sound great also.
Did it pay for your investment?
The first one?
Yep.
Yes, we put the money in and we said, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this, well, when you let Bob Ludwig master it, it's not cheap. But ultimately, we made money, not a lot, but enough. And everybody loves the record, and it worked out really great. So then I did the vinyl version of Patrick Leonard's new record called It All Comes Down to Mood. And Patrick is very famous. People say, I don't know Patrick Leonard. Well, he produced Amused to Death for Roger Waters. He wrote all of Madonna's early material and produced her early records. He was involved in the last 3 Leonard Cohen records, the really great ones. And he came to me to do the vinyl version of his new record. So I was the vinyl shepherd, that's what I was.
See,
And
it all comes down to mood.
yeah, it's a great record.
And it's true also. It all comes down to mood.
It's something Leonard Cohen told him.
There's a chapter in your life that most people don't know.
Uh-oh. Which one?
Which one? You, in the 80s, you were an actor. Standing up comedy.
Stand-up comedy, yeah.
And voice acting.
I did a lot of voiceovers for commercials. And
Not just commercials.
actually, well,
movies.
Yes,
Like I did my homework.
Animal Olympics.
Animal Olympics.
Yes, that was
And
one.
Fritz the cat.
Yeah, I did some voices for some Fritz the Cat voiceovers. That was a whole nother thing. But Animal Olympics was a bigger thing because the voices were Gilda Radner, Billy Crystal, Harry Shearer, and me. Now they've all drifted off into obscurity, and I'm a big star. Okay.
Being an actor helped you a lot in your presentations, I'm sure.
Being able to get up in front of people and talk, yeah, and it's not so much being an actor, because I try to be real. I'm not putting on an act, but I try to be able to communicate with people by being entertaining, because this subject can be really, it can be very boring and dry.
Yes, you're
We've
right.
all been to these shows where people get up and talk and talk and talk, and they just, so I try to be entertaining and be factual and give them good information too, so, yeah.
That's another thing that most people don't know, that you have a side gig as a loudspeaker terminator.
I'm a loudspeaker terminator.
Yeah. Remember that time in Italy at the world unveiling of the Sonus Faber Extrema? You and Mauro Grange smashed the prototype with a sledgehammer.
Yes, Mauro Grange asked me to be the person to smash. It was the mold. It was the carbon fiber mold, and that meant no more.
I have the video here in my pocket. It's queued up. I'll show it to you when we're finished. Well, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Michael. I don't want to take much of your time. I just want you to see this.
Okay, I haven't looked at that in a long time. I was kind of appalled to do that because people just came up to me afterwards and said to me, "Why did you destroy that?" I said, "Well, he asked me to," and I don't know what happened to those. It was chubbier there. I'm in better shape now.
Michael, thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks so much.